scheduled live. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to type something on the scheduled one. So hopefully I can let you all know to refresh your screen and to come on over. There, I'm going to say that. So it's a very strange thing that I'm trying to get, and I can see that I don't have anybody here watching. So I'm hoping that you are going to come watch. I wonder if I have. I think I probably do have the link, and I'm going to grab the link for you and let me see if I can find it. So if you were, and I can see there's a lovely face of me, I'm crooked. So as you're coming on, let me know where you went to find it, because it is a bit of a challenge here. And I apologize. I'm still figuring out this live YouTube. It's much more confusing when you're doing it from your phone. I should have just done it from my computer, but that wouldn't have worked either. So as you are coming on, I am going to grab the URL, and I'm also going to put that maybe into into our Facebook. So I see 2 here. So welcome, whoever is here. Let me know who is here, and I can hopefully get a few more people coming to watch. So I'm just going to go do make a post right now in our Facebook and let everybody know. So hello, can I see any comments? I can't see any comments right now either. So today is going really, really well. You know how you try and do too many things? Hello, Vicky. I'm glad that you are here. Too many things right before Christmas? Well, yep, that's me. So I'm just going to say, here's where our live is right now, and post that. And hopefully, I know it's going to be a really ugly picture of me, but I do have 3 really cute and super simple treat holders for your Christmas table. And I do want to let you know, hello from Honolulu, Minda. Minda or Minda, I'm thinking. Let me know if I've not, you had to pop on your phone. Perfect. And I think that's just because you happen to be subscribed to my channel. And that's great. I did have this posted with a different URL and a notification though. So that's the issue. And I could not get that to go up on my group. So, sorry, folks, in a different spot. So I will get this all figured out. Maybe in a couple of years. I don't know. They change everything. So, okay, so let's see. I'm hoping that we're going to get a few more people come on. And so I'm just going to talk for just a little bit. So if you have never seen me before, my name is Joanne Rogers. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Central Alberta, Canada. And I've been designing with you in mind since 1999, so that's a little while. And I am just getting going on YouTube Lives. So mostly I do Facebook Lives, and I do that over in my Facebook group called the VI Peeps, Design with Joe VI Peeps. And I put a post after this video, after we're done the live, where you can get signed up for that, because there's some exclusive prizes and contests and all kinds of great content that goes on there. And we have a pretty good and growing community where everybody shares. So it's a great place to be. And I would love for you to let me know where you're watching from. I know where Minda is watching from and Vicky is watching from. You're just starting, so you're a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, Vicky. Good for you. Welcome to the Stampin' Up! Community. And also, if anybody is watching this on the replay, please comment as well and let us know where you're watching from. Let us know how long you've been paper crafting. So what I usually do with my lives, so my YouTube lives, I will come on every second week, and my Facebook lives every second week, the off weeks. And on the Facebook lives, it's a little bit more interactive. So we all get to play together. So you help me pick colors and stamp sets, and I have an idea and I've designed a project, but then we make it based on what you want. And it's fun. And sometimes I'll say, you know, I'll take the 4th person and whatever that person picks, and they could pick something that all the rest of the folks haven't picked. So it's sort of fun to see what we designed together. So I do see a couple more people coming on, so that's great. And hopefully some of my regulars as well, those people who follow me. And again, I apologize for the confusion on where we are. I am going to get started here now because I want to get these 3 projects done quickly for you so that you can really see that you still have lots of time to make them for your Christmas table, or to toss in a little stocking, or to put on the mantle, to give to the paper boy if there is such a thing, the dog walker, any. I'm going to get my hair cut tomorrow, so I'm thinking that I might bring one of these for my stylist. Hello Leanne, hello Carolyn, I'm glad you guys are here. What time is it there? It is 1 o'clock, so just about 1:15 now on Tuesday, December 20th. And I think you are probably, what are you, 16 or 17 hours ahead of us? Vicki, what time is it there? So, okay, so I'm going to turn you down. And when I turn you down, we're going to get started here right away. I don't have very many. Actually, maybe I should just give a couple announcements before we get going. One is the paper party. So my paper party is next. Well, it's not next. It's coming up on the 21st, 7:15. So you're bright and early, Vicki. Good for you. So the paper party is on January 21st, and that's an all-day stamping retreat. It's in person, but it's also to go. So I've done a paper pack to go, and it's a kit with everything that you need, as well as some pretty good swag in there from the new mini catalog, which will be available on January 5th to order from. But you can do in person here in Red Deer, Alberta, and that's a different price. There's actually like a bunch of different options. So the best place to go look and find out is on my website at www.designwithjo.ca. You're in Quebec. Hello, Johan. I'm thinking that might be how you say your name, so correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. I'm going to turn you down, and now we're going to start. Okay, so let me just get turned around on the screen here and get my camera sort of set up, and let me know once I have it set up that you can see. I can see that I need to move it this way, and I also need to get my mouse out of there. Boy, I'm telling you, when you are a little bit discombobulated, it's not that much fun. So let me get back here and see where I am on YouTube, and I'm going to play this. I'm going to turn down my sound because I am going to be delayed. Okay, so what are we going to, and I'm also going to give away last week's Facebook Live that we did. So let me see, I need to adjust this. Sorry, we are a little bit. I will get this, maybe in the new year, maybe 2023 is going to be a very lucky year for me. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Okay, so we are going to be working with the Painted Christmas this year, today. And the Painted Christmas, I think, got a little overlooked this season, and that's because it was available last season. But it really is fantastic paper, and look how many different colors there are in it. So it is still available. It will be retired here on January 4th, and then we won't see it anymore, but it has some beautiful, beautiful paper. And I actually have, I think, like a pack and a half still. So that will be staying into my stash. So what I'd like to do is I've pulled out just one piece. This piece right here, which is reds and almost sort of pinks on one side, and then those are pine cones on the other. And we are going to make 2 projects just with this one, and then the other project we're going to do is just scraps. So I'm sure that most of us have one piece of 6x6 paper. We're going to start with, we're going to do these in the order of probably what takes the most time or is the most difficult, shall we say. And then, so you can decide based on the amount of time that you have still, which one you are going to make. Okay, so I'm just going to sort of watch comments here too and make sure that I am going in the right spot. Okay, so what you're going to do first with your 6x6 piece of paper is you're going to cut it into 3x6. And it doesn't really matter on this particular one. It's directional maybe this way, but it really depends. I think it could go directional both ways. So I'm just going to cut it at 3x6 because it's already 6. So I'm just going to cut it at 3. One we're going to use for one project, so I'm just going to set that aside over here, and we're going to use this one for our first project. So that was the cutting blade. This is our current paper trimmer, and what we're going to do with this one is on the long edge, we are going to score it. So the paper trimmer is great because there are two blades on it. One is a scoring blade, which is like a light taupe kind of color, and the other is a darker one, and that's your cutting blade. And so I use that one to cut the paper. I'm going to put it out of the way now. And that's what's wonderful about our trimmer is that when these go out of the way, they're really out of the way. They're not anywhere where the paper is anymore. So you can do that on the top and the bottom. So now I want the scorer, and I'm going to score this at 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 3.5, and 3 3/4. So I will put these measurements, and it'll all be in my blog tomorrow. So you can take a look tomorrow and get all the measurements. So we're going to start with 1/2. Okay, so I've moved it out to 1/2 right here, and I'm going to butt it right up against that little lip right there. So I'm going to go with 1/2 and give it a score. Now you want to not press so hard on here because this is lighter paper. You can press a little bit harder on your cardstock, but on your designer paper, go a little lighter. So there's our 1/2 inch. We're going to move it out to 1 inch now. Then we're going to go to 3.5. And the last one we're going to do is at 3 3/4. That doesn't seem right somehow, but I'm thinking, I'm going to do that at 4. Now I'm just thinking, did I write that down wrong? I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that at that 4, and we'll just see what happens. And then you're going to turn it and you're going to go 1/2 inch. And when I do this on my blog, I'll make sure that it's right. We'll find out pretty soon whether this is right. So, and we're doing 1/2 inch on the short edge. Okay, then you're going to take your scissors, and I usually always cut mine. So here you can see the score lines a little bit better. I usually cut mine before I fold, and that's just a personal preference, just so that I find it a bit unwieldy if I burnish everything up. So I'm going to cut here because I can see it better than I can on the other side, but I'm going to have the other side be out. So all I'm going to do is take off this one little corner, just that one little corner at the bottom. You're going to go up to the both score lines, one here and one here, and just cut that off. So now I'm going to score, I'm just going to burnish all of my lines, and I'm just going to fold them all in the same direction. They're all going to go into each other. And this is the color that I'm going to have facing out. So just give them all a quick little burnish. So you don't need to have a template or anything for this one. Okay, so then what we're going to do is we are just going to fold it like this. And I was right, it wasn't the 3/4. We're going to take some tear and tape, and we're going to put the tear and tape onto the red side. So on the side that is going to be our facing out is where the tear and tape is going to go. And so just go ahead and make it, just eyeball it. It's going to be about the same width, and you want to go as close to that score line as possible, because that's where it's going to be meeting the edge. Then you're going to take up that tear and tape. Now, if you have a problem getting that going, I would take your pick tool, the pointy end, and just go in from the side. And when you go in from the side, you can lift it up. Now, here's a trick for putting together a box fairly easily. Fold over, and you can fold it there or fold it there. And then if you have it scored right, you should be able to just come right up to that. So you don't want to go the entire way. You only want to cover up to that first score line. So I'm going to fold that. I'm going to look at where my glue is, and I'm just going to fold it like that. I was wrong. Hold on just a minute. I'm going to need to go and do something different here. Hold on. Here's the one I made. So let me see here. So that's 2 1/4. So I did do that wrong. We're going to have to start over again because it isn't a great day here in the Rogers Zelenka household. I'm going to start with that again. I'm sorry for everybody who's wondering what the heck is going on. We're going to do our 1/2 inch. Again, we are going to do our 1 inch. And here is where I think I made my error. So now what I want is I want to have this be 2.5 inches, right? So 2 1/4 inches. So 2 1/4 inches means I need to go to 3 1/4, not 3.5. And then I'm going to go to 3 3/4. Okay, now, as my mother says, we are cooking with gas. And then I am only going to go to the 1/2 inch here. Okay, let's try that again, shall we? So another quick little cut just down in that bottom corner. And you're all saying, I don't know if she's done this before. I actually have. I've done it a few times. But you know, every once in a while, your day just does not go the way that you had planned it was going to go. Anyone else have days like that? Hello, Carlos. I'm glad you are here. And yes, I am not in the place I was supposed to be, so I am the issue here. I'm just seeing if we have any other. Yes, Vicky. There. That's all I'm doing is I'm just trying to show you mistakes. Okay, so we want to also do one other thing. We want to cut up here. See, I missed that too. So we're going to cut up where that 1/2 inch mark is. So we're not going to take it all off. We're just going to cut. So now we're going to take our tear and tape and do it again. See if I can get about the right size. So get as close as you can to that score line. Take your pick tool and lift it up. And then come to meet. And it should meet perfectly. That's a lot better for me. Oh, look at that. You get a nice little box. Okay, and we are also going to put, I didn't cut this one. Okay, so we are also going to put a little bit of tear and tape. Now, you don't need to use tear and tape. You could use liquid glue if you want. It's up to you. I find that tear and tape just goes together quicker, but if you want to use liquid glue, all you have to do is either put it, after you fold it down, you can put it right on here and just get it all the way around. Or you can put it on this one and fold it over. So then just fold it over and cover it up. Liquid glue, you just have to wait a couple minutes. So now I'm just going to take my bone folder and get it right into the middle there. Okay, so this is our back because that's where our overlap piece is. And we're just going to close that up. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to do some decorating. So we're going to decorate. Let me put that stuff aside. We're going to decorate, and I want to show you how you can get a tag that is just a little bit bigger. So this tag makes that size. This punch makes this size of a punch. So I want a longer one. So what you do is you take the measurement of from the cutting edge of both left to right. Take the measurement, and here it is 1 5/8. So then I make my little piece of cardstock just a titch smaller. And if we want to measure what a titch is, let's just call it about 1/16 of an inch. So this piece that I have is 1 9/16. And I know for those of us who hate math or hate all the little tick marks that are on a ruler, if you just count it with your take your pick tool, so we have gone to 1 and then we've gone to 9. So 9 of the little ticks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, that's where we are. And that's the size I've made it. And what did the length, you can make the length whatever you want. This one's 3 1/2. So then what you do, so we want to have this piece cut out, but we don't want to have this piece cut out because otherwise we're going to get a tag that looks like this. So we are going to put it in from the top. We're going to sort of scoop it in there, and you have to just get it in. Sometimes you have to hold your mouth just the right way. Now, you don't need to do this step if you don't want to, because that might end up taking you a little bit more time. But once you've made a couple of these, really, this is not that difficult. Okay, so center it, get it nice and centered in there, and then just punch. And what you've done is you've created a longer tag. So you can do that with a bunch, well, most of your punches that are single ones. It's a lot more difficult if it's a builder punch, but it's fairly easy there. Okay. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to stamp on this one. Let me just grab some paper here. Where did it go? I have it in my Stamparatus, I think. Yes, I do. So I'm going to take my paper out. And we are going to stamp, and we're going to use the Christmas Scotty instead of the one that I showed you, or I'll show that one again. So we're going to use the Christmas Scotty punch and stamp set. The punch, I believe, is already sold out, but I want to show you, lots of you probably already have this. So I wanted to show you, just pull out what you have at home, because I'll bet you have all kinds of stamps that you can use. So we're going to use Real Red, and we're going to use Soft Succulent for our snowflakes. I'll pull that off. And I pulled these colors from the colors in the paper. So we're going to do, first of all, do our snowflakes. And I want my snowflakes to be a little bit muted. So I am just going to stamp off and then stamp onto my tag. And you can go all over if you want. You can just leave some white spaces. I'm going to leave a little bit of white space. And then I'm also going to do Merry Christmas at the top. Now I usually always try and get this lined up nice and straight. There we go. Karen, that's a perfect idea. Blame it on the cold. But yes, we all have those days. Thank you very much for knowing exactly what kind of state that I'm in. So thank you everybody who's coming to watch. Okay, so now we're going to punch out our little Scotty dog. I'm not going to stamp him, but you could do just a plain piece of black, and that would be perfectly fine. But what I found that works really, really cute for this dog is to run your piece of cardstock through the stripes and splatters, the actual splatters embossing folder. And then what you get is some, you know, I know it's not fur, but it almost gives the idea or impression of fur. So then go ahead and just do your dog. Now I could cut this off so I'm not getting that bow, but I might want to use that bow for something else. So I'm just going to do over there so I don't get it into my ink. And then our dog can be going one of both ways, but you can see probably that he's got some texture. Well, he or she has some texture. I'm going to do that there. And I also have some of the red and white. And you can see I've used this really quite well. I'm going to try and get the bow out of here without using too much, without cutting too much extra. Whoa, and it flies all over. So I'm going to put a small mini dimensional on the back of that. And we're just going to put it right on top of our dog. But first, let's put our dog on there with glue. I'm not going to put him on with dimensionals. Is it a him? Is it a her? Do you guys have a preference? Let's put just a little bit of glue. I don't have to put glue everywhere because I'm putting it right onto the tag. And I think, do we want our dog straight or, well, let's put him straight. Let's put him straight. We'll set him straight and glue him on there. And then we're just going to take the bow and stick the bow here. This is such a cute and quick little idea. The one that I'm going to show you here in a minute is one that took just a little bit longer. So now we have our tag. We're going to pull our bag back in. I'm looking for the front. There's the front. So our tag is probably going to go something like this, but I do want to do some ribbon around there first. So I'm going to pull in some of the soft succulent, and I'm going to go probably for about 15 inches. I want there to be a nice bow here. And let me see, I am going to cut it off. I usually end up cutting off a little more than I need. Now, if you find that your bows move around a little bit, you can always take your glue dots and you can hold it in place. So take a little glue dot and just stick it onto your ribbon and stick it onto your box. I'm not going to right now because I may want to move my bow. So I'm just going to turn this into a bow. You know what? Let's put in the treats first, and then that will be easier. So we are just going to take a Merci chocolate, and you can make this box to be whatever size you want. And to cover a Merci, what you need is a piece of our designer paper that is 2.5 by 2 3/4. And you might need to just measure that because it's so similar. And so we are going to put tear and tape on the long edge on the side we don't want to see. Okay, so I've done that already. So on the side that we don't want facing out, we are going to put tear and tape, and then we're going to take it off. And then I usually put mine upside down, fold it over, maybe not quite all the way to the edge there. And I'm holding it relatively tight here, and then fold it over to meet. And I realize it's a little hard to see. But then what you have is a piece like this. And I usually always put them in so I can see the foil on the top. Because if somebody is allergic to the nuts, I want to make sure I don't give them one that has the nuts on it. Okay, so you're going to put them in. That's going to make it, and I don't put glue right on it so that I can move those around. Now it's going to be easier to tie our bow. So I'm going to tie it this, just like you're tying your shoes. And I have found a little trick for getting the tails to go the same way is usually for me to tie it upside down. So I turn the item upside down. I don't know. It's just, it seems funny that it should work that way. Make your 2 loops and then fold them together and just tie it. And I'm going to play with it a little bit. So that's a great big bow. I'm going to play with the ends just a little bit. There we go. Now I can decide where I want that bow. That one doesn't want to stay very tight together. I think it's because it's a nice soft ribbon. Okay, so let's go back to our dog. Let's pull this to one side or the other. I think I'm going to try this side for this one. And we're going to put our dog maybe on this way, okay? And I'm going to cut this off so that, and I think I'm going to put it over top. Maybe I won't cut it off, but I am going to put it over top so that we can see the dog. And the dog's going to go on with some dimensionals. As I said, this one is the more involved out of all of our projects. So the other ones will not be quite as long, so don't worry about it. If you are doing last minute, there is really last minute here. And I'm going to put one up here, a little further down, because this might poke over the top. Okay. So you don't need to have really a template for doing any of these. Put our dog on here. I don't want it to go over the edge at the bottom because this will stand up. Get that there. Oh, and look, I said I wanted the ribbon to go. I'm just going to pull his little nose. How many of you have dogs? And let's get that off. That off. Okay, so there is our little Scotty dog. Let me pull in the other one that I made. So this is, let's put it this way. This is the other one that I made, and that's using the caroling mice. And it is a little bit more involved because you are coloring. So if you have a little bit more time, go ahead and color up a few different things and cut them out. Otherwise, use a punch if you have some snowflakes or a dog, or if you have cats, or the penguin would work for this. I think I did a penguin actually. Yes, so here's another little penguin that would work if you wanted to. So I have already done this one up, and I've used the exact size of the tag. So you can do just about anything, and these will stand. Okay, so they will stand up so that you can have them, or they'll lay down on a plate for someone for Christmas. Okay, so I'm going to put that aside and we will come back to it. Let me just tidy up here for a few seconds and we'll get on to the next project. So our next project is something that's even quicker. I'm going to have to cut myself another piece of paper because I used up that one. So let's use, do I want to use it? Yeah, let's use this one. So I need another piece that is 3 by 6. This one is even easier. I don't want to score it. I want to just cut it. So you don't even need your paper trimmer to score for this one. So you have a piece that is 3 by 6. 5 boxes of Mercies. Wow, Vicki, you have lots. Hello, Debbie, sorry. So what you're gonna do is you're just gonna take that 3 by 6 paper and you're going to fold it in half lengthwise and decide what you want to have facing out. I think I'm gonna go for this guy facing out. Yeah, let's go for this guy facing out. So just match up your edges. You will need your bone folder for this, but for now, just go ahead and cut or fold that, and then really crisp it up. Now you want to fold this up about 1/4 inch. And there's no magic to that. If it's 3/8 of an inch, even if it's 1/2 an inch, it's probably going to work just fine. I just realized I forgot to bring a goodie. I might have to go grab one really quickly. And now what we're going to do, without doing anything else, so now we've got that folded, fold back on itself so that you have a fold that's going to go both ways. And now you can leave it just like that at the top. You can cut it with your scissors off like this. And if you do that to get it to match, take one of the cut off pieces and match it on this side. And I have a blog on how to do that, because we're not going to do that because sometimes that's a little more difficult. We are going to use our basic borders, and these 3 of the basic borders were the ones that I found worked the best. This one will work as well. They all will work, but I found that these ones really were the best. And I have already cut, not this one, but not this paper, I mean, but I've already cut one and I have it ready to go. But what you want to do is you just want to line this right up with the top. Make sure it's stuck together. Stuck together meaning that it is, you have it folded here. Okay, it's just easier to do that fold first. Then you're going to run that through your die cutting machine. And when you do that, you get this for a top. And the one that I have to show you is a little different top. So I'll show you that in just a minute once we sort of get this done. Okay, so now I have that fold down at the bottom. Okay, and I've got a little design at the top. Now I do have a punch here somewhere. I've misplaced it. Here it is. This punch here, so the Label Me Fancy punch has a nice big slot in it. So I like this one for putting a slot right at the top. Now in order to get that nice and straight, just give yourself a little pencil mark, and then you're going to know exactly where to put it. Hello, Linda from Ohio. I'm so glad to have you here. And, oh, don't do what I was just about to do. You want to put it in the side, and you are going to line, let me just see if I can see it here. You're going to line up that pencil mark and get the pencil mark in the middle, okay? And then punch it. And you're going to punch through both pieces of paper. Okay, so now we've got a nice little hole there. Okay, so I need to grab something. Do I have one right in reach? I don't have one within reach. So hold on 2 seconds. I forgot to get, and we're going to use a Ghirardelli for this one. You're going to hear lots of banging and crashing. My room is not that big, but we're going to take a Ghirardelli. So these fit a Ghirardelli perfectly. And you're going to take glue dots. You can put it on with liquid glue if you want. I just found that it takes a little bit longer to dry. And I'm usually doing these at about the 11th hour. So I don't know, maybe you are too. And you're going to put that down fairly close. So here's our score line right here. You're going to put that down fairly close to the score line. Just get that settled in. Now, that bottom piece is actually going to go and create a gusset. So we are going to push in on the middle score line. And then we're going to have it almost create a straight bottom. Can you see sort of what I've done there? Okay, so it's going to go in on that part so that you have a little bit of a gusset. So then what we're going to do is we are going to take some, I think we're going to use red this time, and we are going to put that through the top, right through that hole, and make yourself a bow. I'm going to cut this too, but I've lost my scissors. There they are. Now, you don't have to do a bow. You could do a knot here if you like. If you have a problem making bows at all, no worries, just make a knot. If you like to tie bows, go ahead and tie a bow here. And it's just going to be fun to have a little bow on top. It's just going to give it a little bit more presence, probably. Presence with a C, not presence with a T, which is what lots of people are thinking about at this time of year. And again, these do not need to be perfect. I usually end up playing with my bows until I get something that I like. And sometimes it's a challenge. Like this one, I don't like as much because I hardly have a tail here and I have more tail there. So I need to pull that back a little bit more. I need to even out my ends so that I have about the same amount on top. And then I'm going to try that again. Ta-da. Bow. Much better. And I don't even need to trim off my ends because I've got about the right amount. Perfect. Okay, so now we're just going to fancy this up a little bit. So I'm using the Celebrate with Tags. This stamp set is actually staying in the catalog. You know what I realized? I could probably come in a little bit closer for you there. But the dies are going, which is an unusual situation. Usually the dies stay in and the stamp set goes. So these dies are going, and I'm going to use this die, both of these dies here, and I'm also going to use one die that I've lost, which is over here, for our words. So we're going to bring this guy in. I've pulled out the Be Jolly, and it's on my what is that? Stamp block. I can see that my day is just going to go like from maybe bad to worse. And just go ahead and stamp that down. I'm just going to go this way to make sure I have it on both sides. The reverse tweezers, yes, Vicki, and they come in our embossing tool additions kit too. You're right, they are perfect for holding something in place like that. So there's our Be Jolly. This die cuts it out perfectly, and I do have that already cut out here. I'm getting quite a pile of stuff here, as well as a couple other things. So there's my Be Jolly. I've cut out one of the circles with the die as well, this die right here, and I've also cut out a snowflake. And I've used our Real Red and White, and we're just going to glue these down on top of here. And we're going to stick some glue on there, put it nicely in the center. Now, if you don't want to use dies, go ahead and use punches. So you might have punches that you can just cut out even quicker than using a die. I will usually try and put a few different dies in at the same time. Now I'm using liquid glue on top of the snowflake because I found that when you're gluing on top of glimmer paper, it does not necessarily, and leave that out, doesn't necessarily want to set up really well. So I use liquid glue just to give it a firmer hold. Now I'm going to take your pick. I'm going to put the mini dimensionals on the back of the Be Jolly. And then I'm also going to give them a little helping hand. I'm going to give them a little dab of glue too. Take off your backings, hold it down, give a little dab of glue, liquid glue. You could try your mini glue dots. I have not found those to be as successful for me at getting things to stay. And that is just going to go right over the middle. And just be careful because your glimmer paper does take a little bit of time to dry, a little bit longer than normal. And so here's the other one that I did. So this guy here has a little bit more, not as glitzy, I guess, a little bit more colorful. And this one is a little bit smaller on the top because I used this. Oh boy, because I use this one instead of this one. Okay, so you can get slightly different sizes, but this will also stand up at the table. Okay, so there's another really quick one. And the last idea, I'm going to pull all these back in once we're done with everything. And the last idea, I just need red. I'm going to close that one up because obviously I could get my whole hands full of ink very easily here right now. And the last thing we're going to do is we are just going to use scraps. So the scraps you need, this is from the same paper, you need 3. Now you might need to measure whatever your goodies are. So I'm using the Andes candies. So the ones, now they're making them now where they put them almost in a little pouch. I like the ones where they are actually folded over with the foil. I like those ones the best. And in order to fit this particular candy, you need 3 of these that are 1 3/8 by 2.5. So they're 2.5 long, 1 3/8. And I'm going to use a little bit of our tear and tape on there. So this is a super, super quick one. No, that's not enough tear and tape. That's just a little bitty piece. Put a little bit more on there. It's easier, or it's not as bad if you go over the edge like I did, than not enough. So I'm going to take the backing off, because we can always fold in that glue that might be sticking out there. I could be using my take your pick for this. There we go. And then again, I put my Andes chocolate upside down. I fold over one side, and then I fold over the other, and get this as tight as you can again. And you've got this little package. You're going to either need more tear and tape or your glue. We are going to take a stamp, and this time I'm using Mary, so the small Mary from the Christmas to Remember. This is in the annual catalog. So as pull whatever you have. Don't go looking for brand new things. Just pull what you have. So I wanted just a very little greeting for this one. So the Mary worked really well. And I'm just going to stamp the Mary. Now you're going to gasp. Don't pull out your paper trimmer. Just pull out your scissors and just cut that off. And you can see it's not even straight. No worries. Just cut it off again. You can go forever trying to get it straight, but the folks who are going to see this are not going to be that worried about it. Okay, and I'm going to just give my end a little bit of a diagonal, a little bit of an angle. Okay, so now I'm going to close this guy up. And I have 2 more that are already done. Now I'm going to show you a bunch of these. You can do them all the same designer paper, or you can mix and match. Here I'm going to sandwich the green in between the 2 red. So this is going to be my bottom. Well, decide which one you like the best. Actually, that's going to be my top. This is going to be my bottom, then this one. So I need to put a little piece of tear and tape. Well, that's too big. A little piece of tear and tape on the bottom here, and then another one here. And it's on the top of the of the chocolate. Take those off. So you can see how these ones, if you're really rushed for time, this is the one you're going to want to make. So this goes on top of here, and try and get them so that they're lined up on the sides. Press it down. This one's going to go on top of here. Then we need some ribbon. We're going to go for some of that red again. And you can do this one, we're not going to do a bow. We are just going to do a knot. So wrap it around from the bottom. Just do it in a knot. I have lots of other samples to show you, and I have tied them in a bow. But think about how you get presents. And when you get presents, the bow is usually on the top, right? Or the ribbon is on the top. So we've got ribbon like this. We're going to take our Mary, which I'm having problems picking up. We're going to stick a glue dot on the end, on the back side of the end. Pick it up, and then we're going to place it right inside where the knot is. And then the last thing we're going to do is we're going to give it I'm going to cut off the ends of that too. We're going to give it just a little, I think we're going to go for the green. We're going to do the Mary here. And let's take this guy and this guy. And that's your little present. And you just leave one of those at the table for everybody so that they have one. And there you go. Now let me show you some other ones. So here's another one. This one's with the bow. So it's with the window pane. This one here is with the little, the red. And the red and green. I think, no, I don't have the green. Here's a teeny weeny itsy bitsy bow that I made with this one. I used a bow maker for that. So this one has all the same paper, as does that one. That one is a mix. So it's actually just like that one. And I have, this one is all the same with that bow again. So these are all with scraps. I didn't cut down any paper. These were all scraps that I still had. And there's one all the same. So a whole bunch of little merry wishes that you can leave for somebody. There's Option number 2, which takes a little bit more time, and then option number 3, which takes the most time of all to make. So let me know which one you like the best, or which one you think you might make. You can make these with a bunch of different chocolates that are out there. Nuggets would work. If you're going to do nuggets, I would only do 2 nuggets though, because if you're in the States or somewhere where you can purchase them. In Canada, we can't get them unless you have friends like I do who go to the States, but the little mini chocolate bars work. If you're here in Canada at Costco, the little Swiss Delice work. So there's a bunch of different ones that'll work for you. Okay, so I just want to give away what we made in our Facebook Live last week. And it is a little hot chocolate container like this. And you can still go on to the live. I did post this on my blog as well. So if you go to www.designwithjo.ca, you can get the template for making this little bag, which is a fun little bag, and how we made everything else. And so this is going, and I'm afraid that I did look and I thought, well, who could I get this to in time for them to have it for Christmas, and also somewhere that's close by. So this is going to Deborah Oshvalda, who made a comment last time. So all of you ladies who have made comments here today, your name will go in the draw for some of these here, but things that are fairly easy for me to send. So Deborah, that is for you. Congratulations. And thank you everybody for joining me. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, however you celebrate. Even if you don't celebrate, I hope that you have a wonderful holiday season, and I will be back. I will not be having a live next week either on Facebook or on YouTube, but I will be back on January 3rd, and I've got a Valentine's project that I have already planned for that. So thank you everybody, and we will see you again. Bye-bye. Okay, I'm gonna have to get out of here. Sorry, ladies.